for the weekly ranking this week, guys. This week on our top 5, we will be ranking the top 5 comic book movies that have came out. Now, I'm let's put some rules on this. Let's put, yeah, box, yep, put some rules in the box. The movies had to have been released had a theatrical run, theatrical release. They had to. So none of like the Fantastic Four movie. Now that movie was bad, but the Fantastic Four movie that they had to make so that they kept the
Yeah, the
rights to.
1994 one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of that. Also, no animated movies like the DC ones that were really good.
Mhm.
Also, character, any movie that we selected, the character had to be made in a comic book before they went to movies. So, like, perfect example, Godzilla. Godzilla was in movies before he was in comic books. So Godzilla could not be on this ranking at all. So now that we have set the parameters out, these are our top 5 comic book movies. And Paul, we will start off with you.
Alright, sounds good. So, I got a bunch on here from a lot of different places, but there are you will see a trend. So, my honorable mention for this week is gonna be Blade 2, and the Blade movies with Wesley Snipes are excellent. They're amazing. Blade Trinity, a little bit less so, but it was a still solid movie. And then, of course, they had to bring back Wesley Snipes for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but I love Blade 2, even more than the first one, just because Blade 2 felt like they hit that perfect mix of action and horror, and they gave him some actual, like, superpowers. In Blade 1, you could see a little bit of his super strength, but in Blade 2, this dude was jumping off of buildings and, hitting these amazing, like, superhero feats, and I think that Blade 2 is probably the best Blade movie that Wesley Snipes has done, best Blade movie, period. Hopefully, we get the Mahershala Ali Blade movie eventually, but until then, this is a good substitute. My number 5 spot, Spider-Man: No Way Home, which, as everybody knows, huge Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite, and this movie being at number 5, I mean, I love Spider-Man, love him to death. This movie is amazing. And the only thing is, it would not have been as good as it was if it weren't for all the other Spider-Man movies that came before it. Like, all the Tobey movies, the Andrew movies, and the Tom movies. They all had to mesh together to make this movie as good as it was. But even when it came out, it was amazing and it was groundbreaking. And I remember being in the theater freaking out when Andrew showed up through the portal, and then when Toby showed up, I almost dang near cried because that was my childhood Spider-Man coming back to a movie 20 years after he became Spider-Man, and it was just the best thing that could have happened to someone who grew up with those movies. But Spider-Man: No Way Home is just a fantastic movie all around. So that's in my number 5 spot. Number 4, another Marvel movie, Avengers: Infinity War, which I think we'll both agree is probably one of the best Marvel movies, if not the best Marvel movie
Oh,
to
it's
exist.
amazing. It's
Uh,
amazing, dude.
it is. It is a culmination of 10 years of the MCU just bringing all these characters together. And this poster, I mean, we talked about the movie posters earlier. I normally hate floating head posters. They just seem super goofy, like someone just typed into Chat GPT, like, hey, make me a movie poster with all the actors' faces on it. But this one, it changes the game and it puts all of these amazing actors in one poster, and it actually makes them feel like, okay, everybody in here has a spot, has a role, and it was an amazing movie. I mean, oh my gosh, the reactions that everybody had when the movie first came out. I was unfortunately a little bit late getting my tickets to this movie, so me and my dad had to sit in the very very front row, breaking our necks to look up at the screen. I mean, that's my fault, but even still, we had an amazing time watching this movie, and it broke everybody whenever all of our favorite characters started getting dusted and dying. I was bawling whenever Spider-Man died. It was bad. My dad looked at me like, "What's wrong with you? You loser." My dad's not. My dad's not the biggest emotional guy, so whenever I'm sitting there like, "Spider-Man died," he's like, "He's not real, shut up." So, I mean, that's just how it is, but it was an amazing movie, and then most of the time when a movie like this comes out at the very end, everybody's hooting and hollering and applauding like, "Woo, great movie." Dead silence. When this movie hit the credits, dead silence. Nobody in that theater said a word because we were all just shocked and stunned at what just happened. And when a movie makes an audience feel like that and then come back a year later with Endgame and then tie it up in a nice little bow like that, that's a good solid movie. And Infinity War and Endgame, they're both very, very great movies, but Infinity War, it cinches it for me. That one's amazing. Let me go to my number 3 spot, The Dark Knight. So, I'm not the hugest DC fan. I do like some DC movies, I do like some DC characters, but you cannot deny the groundbreaking achievement that is The Dark Knight. I Heath Ledger is the Joker. I don't think anybody except maybe Mark Hamill could even rival his portrayal of the character in this movie. And watching this movie in theaters, I remember watching this movie in theaters. I was in 8th grade, and I thought that I was watching the best movie in the world at the time. It was incredible, and I remember sitting there thinking when they got to the point where they, like, arrested the Joker, I'm like, "Dang, the movie's already over? Like, that was a pretty quick movie." Come to find out that was barely the halfway point of the movie, and there was still so much more to go. It was a shock and awe for sure, and,
Well, and then when you find out when he's interrogating him where he kinda sent those to.
Mhm. Oh my god, like, every twist and turn that the movie takes and every like, the Joker seems like a chaotic person, but in this movie, dude was smart, dude was strategic, dude did everything he could to make the police and Batman look like a bunch of fools,
He's
and
controlled
that's
chaos.
he is controlled exactly, he is controlled chaos, and that's what I love about this version of the Joker. He says, I'm just a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one." He is straight up lying through his teeth. He is a master manipulator and genius intellect in this movie, which is something you don't often see in a portrayal of Joker. And that's one of the things I love about this movie and this poster. And we argued about this before the podcast. I love this poster. You cannot beat this poster. This was the teaser poster for The Dark Knight, and just the "Why so serious?" and then the bloody face, on the glazed glass. I remembered, like, just being so, like, enamored with this poster in this movie. So, even though I'm not the hugest DC fan, Batman, and especially The Dark Knight, this will be one of my favorite movies of all time. Not just superhero movies, but top 10 movies of all time. Moving on to my number 2 spot, Hellboy, which is kind of out of left field. It's not a, you know, Marvel DC movie. This is a different studio. I believe it's Dark Horse Comics that produces the Hellboy comics. But when this movie came out, oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved the world that it created, the supernatural, paranormal, the feel to it. Ron Perlman is one of my favorite actors of all time. Every character that he's ever played, I've just been in love with him, and he is Hellboy. Like, you could say that, Red Guardian, David Harbour
Best
was
Hellboy.
a
That's my Hellboy. Just jokes, guys, but
I know, but he is a good Hellboy, I will admit. I love David Harbour. He's a fantastic actor, and I do love his Hellboy, but I'm sorry. Ron Perlman is Hellboy, just like Heath Ledger is Joker, Ron Perlman is Hellboy, and love him, love Abe Sapien, love Liz, everybody in this movie, and then I went and, like, I didn't even know that this was a comic book until after I saw the movie, but when I saw the movie, I'm like, "There's comics for this guy?" And I went and found so many comics for this guy, and I'm reading through them, and I'm like, so there's like, it was like my first because I'm used to the normal superhero Spider-Man, "Oh, we're gonna beat the villain of the week" type stories. But the Hellboy comics, they are dark, they're gritty. The heroes do not always win,
and it is
and
Dark
it
Horse Comics, by the way.
okay, thank you. And no, it was absolutely incredible just, like, how much the universe drew me in. And the director of Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro, GDT, I love him. Any movie that GDT makes, I'm there for it. So, Hellboy's number 2 for multiple reasons that this was one of my favorite movies as a kid. But going to my number 1 favorite movie, if you guys haven't figured out what it is, it's Spider-Man. It's always been Spider-Man. It's always gonna be Spider-Man. Some might argue that Spider-Man 2 is the better movie, but I've always been a sucker for origin stories, and this movie is the best superhero origin story ever. Some people might say, "What about the Superman movies or the Batman Begins movies?" No, you cannot tell me that those movies hold a candle to Spider-Man, because this movie was the perfect way to show a young Peter Parker getting his powers, graduating high school, and learning to become a hero in his own right, and facing off against one of his best villains ever, Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. Again, I don't think there's been a more perfect cast of a character than Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. And of course, Toby, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, everybody that was in this movie was an absolute heavy hitter, amazing, amazing actor. But I'm telling you right now, this is one of my favorite movies, not just superhero movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I tell you right now, I can quote this movie start to finish, word for word. I have seen this movie so many times. It's ingrained into my brain. And it's I literally cannot say more. Spider-Man is the best.
Yeah, and to like add on to what you were saying with like the whole holding a candle to the other origin stories like Superman and Batman Begins,
Mhm.
the one thing that they I would say lack massively is that with every great hero it has to have an even better villain. And
Mhm.
the Green Goblin is just portrayed better than Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul and Lex Luthor in those origin stories. They're
Oh,
just
absolutely.
he is better, and that's what I think elevates the movie so much higher because, like, you don't have Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow, yeah, they run amok through Gotham in the first one, and they really test Batman. They didn't show up and blow up Aunt May and and do all this.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't show like, yes, he burned down Bruce's home and stuff like that, and they issues, but, like, truly, like
But no, like, okay, the one of the best quotes from Green Goblin in this movie is like, "How do we kill Spider-Man? The heart, Osborn. You must attack the heart." That is what makes a good villain. They know what makes a hero run scared. Yeah, Ra's al Ghul burned down Bruce Wayne's mansion.
who cares?
Boo-hoo. Who
Yeah, he
cares? He
doesn't
could
care
build
about
another
he
one.
doesn't care about the mansion, and it's also, like, I think Willem Dafoe, his portrayal as well, like, his off and on is amazing, and
Mhm.
it's you see I feel that you see the off and on more in No Way Home a little bit better, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, I agree because he's had time to refine it, and then he just went full psycho in No Way Home, but
Yeah,
in a way that those of us that saw the movie the first time was like, "Oh, I forgot how scary Green Goblin can be."
yeah, and the other thing about No Way Home that makes it better is that it made the other movies better. It
It did,
made
it
other
did.
movies better. Minus, okay, you didn't do much with Lizard and you didn't do much with Sandman, but every other character though, with Electro, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin, you made all three of those characters better. And it's like,
Definitely.
oh, it's so cool that 20 years later that movie can make other movies better. It's just crazy, like, it's just
It is.
insane to me.
It very much is, but that is the staying power of Spider-Man. So,
Yeah.
you can't beat it, man.
We sum it all up for us again, Paul. What do we got running it down again?
All right, my honorable mention was Blade 2, number 5, Spider-Man No Way Home, number 4, Avengers Infinity War, number 3, The Dark Knight, number 2, Hellboy, and number 1, Spider-Man.
Awesome, awesome. Well, guys, we will now move over to my list. And with my list, guys, you will see a lot of you will see some similarities, but you will also see some big differences as well. So, starting off with my honorable mention, you got to put up for me. Yes, X-Men Days of Future Past. And guys, this was the first X-Men movie that I saw in the theaters. Now I want you guys to realize again, I am younger than Paul. I am a lot younger than Paul.
You don't
But
gotta keep reminding people, man.
Paul's old, guys. Paul's really old. No, but this was the first X-Men movie that I had seen in theaters, and I absolutely love it. I remember asking my dad, like 5 minutes before the movie started, me and him went to use the restroom because that's what you do before you go see movies. And we're using the restroom, and I look over at my dad, and I'm like, "Hey dad, so who are we fighting in this? What are we doing?" And he's like, "Well, there's these guys named the Sentinels." And to say this, my dad is a very big Wolverine fan. That was his comic that he collected as a kid was Wolverine and X-Men. So he loves the X-Men. And so he was telling me, he was like, the Sentinels, and he was telling me all about the Sentinels, and I was like, "Oh, these are cool characters. This is a cool little character." And I love it. I love the storyline that they did. I think they were the way they were able to mesh the old X-Men with the new X-Men was like the younger X-Men was awesome.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I love Peter Dinklage so much as an actor. He is a great actor, and him as Trask is just another great performance by Peter Dinklage, and I just love it. So I that is my honorable mention. Number 5, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. This is a recent one, but I love Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I love Deadpool, and I love Deadpool. I love this character. This movie is sets my record for the movie that I've seen most times in theater. I saw it a total of 8 times in the theater.
God dang.
Yeah, I saw it a lot. I saw it a total of 8 times in the theater, and that was throughout its entire theatrical run, but I saw it 3 times the first day it came out. I saw it once with my dad, once with my aunt and uncle, and then once by myself. I just loved the movie, and the movie to me is the funniest MCU movie that they have ever made, and I am so glad they didn't try to Disneyfy Deadpool, and it's awesome. I get there are some things that lack in that movie. There is like I hate certain things. I absolutely do not like the anchor being thing. That is one thing that I really hate, but I look beyond that just because of how much I enjoy this movie.
Oh,
I just
the rest of the movie is
is
top
so
tier.
and I think it is the funniest thing that, that the final battle they just joked it off, and he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
fighting a bunch of versions of himself, and they did everything right with the fan service with Wolverine, and also giving a send off to the Fox universe in ways like the cameos were awesome with Blade,
Mhm.
and you had Elektra, and you the Gambit, dude.
Oh, yes,
I am
Gambit,
so
yes.
happy that Channing Tatum is getting to play Gambit because I remember when they casted Tatum as Gambit, I was like, "Really? We're gonna make him be Gambit? He looks kind of this seems kind of stupid." No, I love him as Gambit. They
Dude,
did
they've been trying to make a Channing Tatum Gambit
oh,
movie for years, and it's like,
awesome.
thank God that they finally gave him the chance because he loves that character
Oh, and you can
so
just see
much.
that he on screen that he loves playing it, and it's
Mhm.
awesome, and I think that he played it well. I think his costume looks awesome, and I'm so glad
Oh,
that he's
yeah,
coming back in Doomsday, and I hope they keep reusing him after Doomsday because Channing Tatum is awesome as Gambit, and I love it.
definitely. And I
So
think that this movie is the one where it's like, finally, Marvel and every other comic book, production movie company is like, you know what? Let's actually use comic accurate suits. Let's give Wolverine the yellow suit. Let's let Gambit have the weird headpiece thing.
it
Let
works
them be
though.
their comic book people. And it works. It does. And like, this movie proves, listen, you can give them their comic accurate suits and they will still look amazing.
There's some of them where it's like, okay, yeah, we understand that's not going to work. Like, there's some where it's like you understand, but there's other ones where it's like, just try it, and if it sucks, it
Mhm.
sucks. Like, you've got more movies. The costumes are not going to make or break your characters. What makes or breaks your movie is how your movie is played out, and if you horribly write your
Mhm.
characters, that is what makes or breaks the movie, not the costumes. So
Definitely.
anyways, moving on to my number 4, I have Spider-Man 2. This was the first Spider-Man movie that I ever watched. I saw Doctor Octopus on the cover on DVD, and I was like, "I wanna watch Spider-Man 2," and my parents was like, "You wanna watch Spider-Man 1?" And my little 7-year-old self was like, "No, dad, put Spider-Man 2 on. I like that. This dude looks cool." And I love Spider-Man 2. Doctor Octopus is my favorite Spider-Man villain, barely beats out Green Goblin, and I've always thought this movie was just so much fun, and like I said earlier, Spider-Man: No Way Home just makes these characters better, and especially I think the biggest one that they make better is Doctor Octopus,
Oh,
especially with
for
the
sure.
ending, and it is so satisfying, and it makes this movie better. It makes Spider-Man 2 better knowing that, hey, he's such a flawed character, but he is going to be healed eventually. And it's so satisfying and I love it. I can't wait to see what the MCU does with Doctor Octopus because I think eventually they will. But I love Spider-Man 2. It is such a fun the whole concept of Spider-Man giving up and losing his powers too is also a very cool arc as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's
So,
always been one of the best comic arcs is,
yeah.
the superhero giving up his powers for love, but then realizing, nope, I have to bite the bullet, take the burden.
Yeah, and it's just great, and I just love it. So at number 4, Spider-Man 2. Alright, moving on to number 3, Captain America: Civil War. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I think its villain in Zemo is so underrated. I don't think people talk enough about how good a villain Zemo is. Like I don't think he's better than Thanos. No, he's not, but at the same time, he causes and sets up Thanos being able to win in Infinity
Mhm.
War. Without
I th
Zemo, Thanos does not win as well in Infinity War or succeeds in Infinity War in general.
No, absolutely. I think Zemo is also the first MCU villain to actually win.
Yeah, in
In those
a
movies, like, I
sense,
think he's
yeah.
the first one to actually get what he wanted.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he wanted. Like, and it is so cool because you want to know what it did? And this is what I love about movies. It made Avengers Age of Ultron better. It made
Mhm.
Avengers Age of Ultron matter. And it's like, yes, yes, this is what we need. And this is what made that 10 years of the MCU so awesome is that later movies would make past movies better. Like, minus the whole trope of Tony Stark screwed me over, and so he's a bad guy. Like that trope got really old, and still when they do that trope, I'm like, oh great, another Iron Man villain. But
Another Iron Man villain, yeah.
yeah, it's like great. But besides that, it's it's awesome. I love the introduction of Black Panther in that movie. The way that
Mm.
they introduced Black Panther in this movie is awesome. And you want to know what this movie does? This movie made me excited for Black Panther. And it's what Black Panther 2 failed to do for Ironheart. Black Panther 2 was supposed to make us excited for Ironheart, and after Black Panther 2, nobody really cared about Ironheart and wanted to see the Ironheart series. Like, no one really cared. So, Civil War, on the other hand, made us care about Black Panther and love him and so excited. And it's so unfortunate that we lost Chadwick Boseman over 5 years ago now. But
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's been 5 years?
5 years, dude. Last week was
Oh my
5 years.
gosh.
5 years.
Dang.
But no, this movie's awesome, and I love it. And final thing here, the airport battle and the final fight in the end are two of like top 5 fight scenes in the MCU in my opinion. They are just
Oh, definitely.
amazing. But anyways, moving on to my number 2. I have the better poster for The Dark Knight here with Joker. I have the way better poster. Guys,
Yeah,
real quick
yeah.
before I go into this, are you guys team Paul with this and Paul's poster for Joker is better, or is my poster better for Joker? Because I personally believe that this one's cooler. That's just me.
This is 100% something that we need to know.
Yeah,
Please,
yes, we
please
need to
let
know.
us know in the
Let us
comments.
let us know in the comments whose Joker poster was better. Anyways, I love this movie. Paul really hit it home with all the points that he said. Like it just I was amazing. It was funny. When I started watching the Batman trilogy when I was probably like 7, like, because I really got into superhero films around 5 or 6. And my parents, they were like, "Okay, you can watch the Batman films," when I was like 8 or whatever. They're like, "You can watch the Batman films. You cannot watch this one, though." So I had to skip for a long time between 1 and 3 because my parents would not let me watch 2 because of how scary Joker was, and I did not understand it. As an 8-year-old, I'm like, "Come on. Come on, let
It's
me
just a comic book
it's
movie.
just Joker. Gosh, he does. I've seen Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker. He's not that creepy. Like, what? He just giggles and he has little teeth and then I watched the movie when I was 13 and I was like, oh no. I
Yep.
I see what the rock is cooking here. I
Yeah.
I see. I
You
see
wanna see
why
this pencil disappear?
dude, that scene when I was 13 and watched that scene, I was like, "Oh shit, now I see why."
Mhm.
And I love this adaptation. I mean, you guys see how much I have Batman right here. Like and this is this is a Dark Knight replica from 2008. Like I love this movie. This movie is awesome. Everything from the bat suit to Joker to how they played it. Two-Face is amazing as well, even though Two-Face does not even show up until really the third half of the film and really show up. Two-Face is awesome, and it is my favorite design of Two-Face that I have ever seen
Oh, yeah.
besides the Arkham version of
The Arkham
Two-Face.
series, yeah.
Yeah, but live action wise, favorite Two-Face. Like you cannot do much better. And also the fact that they were able to do that level of CGI and all the visual effects with that in 2008, like
No, yeah,
it
it
has
was groundbreaking.
stood the test of time and it looks awesome. The story is amazing. I wish that, Heath Ledger would have stayed around longer because he truly was a gem and it truly shows with how good of an actor he was that besides Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, this is the only, Oscar winning performance that we've had from an actor in a comic book film. Like, and
Yeah.
even though Joaquin Phoenix won a thing for Joker, to me, Joker this is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but to me, Joker is not it is a comic book film, but at the same time, it's not. Like the Dark Knight is a full-on comic book film. He's fighting Batman. He's doing all this stuff, and
Mhm.
he did this on top. The Joker is more of we're gonna go into a psyche of a really sick person, and we put a
And
Joker's
they're using the Joker
we
as,
put a
like, the
Joker's
basis.
yeah, we put a Joker skin on it. But anyways, guys, the Dark Knight's amazing, and that's what I have at number 2. But my number 1, and this is my number 1 film of all time, is Avengers: Infinity War. It is the movie that made me fall in love with movies. It is the movie that I remember seeing it, I remember where I was, and it's every time April 27th comes around, it's like, "Yep, that I saw this movie." Like, I love it. It is amazing. I can't put it into words how awesome it is. Like it's just I love it. It's to me I had this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day was the reason why Avengers Infinity War is so good is because it's got I can put this in front of anybody. I can this in front of somebody that's never watched Marvel. I can put this in front of somebody that's always watched Marvel. I can put this in front of a person that's only watched DC movies. I can put this in front of somebody that's never watched a movie before and they will understand everything that is going on in this movie. Bad guy, big purple dude, good guys, everybody else besides purple dude and his little army. Like you can tell who's the good guy, what is the bad guy trying to do, what do the good guys need to do to stop him, and you know every you understand the movie, and I can do this, and that's to me what makes this movie so great, because you can't do that with Endgame. I cannot put Endgame in front of a random person and then be like, "Oh yeah, I understand what's going on." Like, you can base things, but Endgame has so much innuendos, like, why do I care about the Infinity Stones? What did this purple guy do? Why is he all scarred up? Why are they all pissed? Why did everyone die? Like, Endgame's a much more of a payoff movie. Infinity War is a more complete package, and the ending to me is the best ending they could have ever came up with. It's a perfect ending. And it doesn't have to be, movies do not have to have good or bad endings. That is not what makes people walk out of it, loving a movie. What makes people love a movie is whether or not the ending is satisfying, and if you feel satisfied at the end of that movie. Even though you had a pit in your stomach and you felt horrible and you're like, "Wow, they just killed all my favorite characters," you walked out of it satisfied. You were like, "Okay, I hate this, but I'm satisfied with how it came through because everything that led up to it made sense. There was not many plot holes. There was nothing. It was like, okay, everything happened for a reason and everybody messed up here or they did this. And that is why Thanos got further and further into his mission." And so that's to me why I love this movie so much. And I watch it constantly. I
Oh
watch
yeah.
it over and over. Like, I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I have a project due for school and I'm gonna rewatch it because I have to break it down. So it's amazing, dude. It's
Oh, it
amazing.
is. And like we said earlier, a movie and a hero is only as good as his villain. And Infinity War with Thanos, I think that's probably one of the best portrayals of a villain in any movie. Like, and people have said this movie, it's not an Avengers movie. It's a Thanos movie. This is
Oh yeah.
his movie.
Oh yeah. And
And
and what makes it better is like there's always this discussion with Infinity War is like, well, Thanos should have been like doing what he does in the comics and he's trying to impress death. No. No. To
no, no,
me,
no, no.
that's always been
That's
a stupid reason.
it's been very goofy, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, him thinking like this is how I'm going to save the universe
Because I don't want
because I
people to end up like my planet. Like,
exactly.
it's like it's amazing because he is broken as a character because he saw everyone around him die because of overpopulation. And now
Mhm.
he's like, "I'm gonna save all these people because I don't want this to happen to people." And it's such a cool ideology.
It is a cool way to show a villain is like he's not malevolent. He's not, or at least in his own mind, he's not evil. He thinks that he is the hero of the story,
Yep.
and he just has to do. He's a good guy who has to do some bad things, at least in his mind. But like it's such an interesting way to portray probably one of the biggest villains in comic book history.
Yeah.
And I might get some flack for saying this. I think that that portrayal of Thanos is better than all the comics versions of Thanos.
Oh, in my opinion, it is. Because like I said, I think it's very goofy, the whole, "I wanna kill people for death." Like,
Yeah,
to me, that's hokey. Like, that's very hokey and would not have it. I say this, but just because it's good on a comic book page does not mean it's gonna be good in film. Most of the time, it
yeah,
isn't. Like, the difference between comic book pages and film are massive, and you see it with certain characters and certain things. Like, things have fallen flat on its face because it just didn't work, and I
yeah.
don't think that would have worked. I think people have been like,
There
"That is stupid."
there are certain things that translate well and other things that don't. And I think that Infinity War figured out what works best and they put it into one of the most amazing movies ever.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, what are your top 5 comic book movies? Me and Paul just shared ours, and we love these movies and we cherish them very closely. And so, yeah, let us know, your guys' ranking, what you guys thought of our ranking, any other things that you guys want us to rank. Please give us ideas because we're not running out of ideas, but we'd like to know what you guys want us to rank. But anyways, guys, let us know in the comments below. Want more? Check us out on YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, or even the link down below for the full podcast.
Leave us a comment if you guys have any thoughts, questions, or ideas. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more videos and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.